Okay, at this point, I've already created and saved my file as round column. And I'm going to do this part a little bit differently to be more efficient and to demonstrate some additional features on Fusion. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my data panel so I have more real estate to look at. And let's go ahead and start a sketch on the front plane. Now, when I do that, you might look at this and say, hey, Mr. Conrad, this is sitting on a square base. And it is. Maybe I'd want to start drawing that. But in this case, I want to start with the cylinder in the middle, which has a diameter of 0.625 inches. So I'm going to draw a circle, 0.625, making sure I got the origin. I'm going to hit E to extrude, and most of the time it flips back to an isometric view when you do that. This time it did not. And if I look at this, I see that it has baseline dimensioning. The square base is 0.25, 3 1/4. So that math I can do in my head easily without having Fusion do the math. That's 3 inches. In this case, instead of going in one direction, I want to go symmetrically. And uh-oh, that looks a little long. That's because when I look at my dialog box, that is half of that instead of the full extent. So again, it's a Windows program. If you hover, it will tell you what's happening. So I want the whole length to be 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and select 3 inches. We are doing a new body. We say OK. And I lost it. Oh, you know why I lost it? That's because I was using my zoom key for a second there. When you go to do an extrusion, if something fails, and I think it did, it often hides a sketch. That's really easy to fix. If I go to the browser, expand the sketches, all I got to do is poke the eyeball to make things visible or not. So now my eyeball is visible. Let's extrude 3 inches symmetrically. So I'm going to select symmetric, and I want the extent to be the whole length. Then I'll say OK. Now I can still see my sketch in the middle. If I want it to be hidden, I can poke the eyeball, and then my cylinder or my sketch is now hidden. Now, reason for doing that is we're only going to have to build one square when we build this part. So now I'm going to create a sketch, and instead of picking an origin plane, I'm going to pick the one that came right out at me. So go ahead and pick this end of the cylinder. Instead of doing a 2-point rectangle, under the Create menu, I'm going to hover and find a center rectangle. So when I come in and do the center, I want to make sure I get the origin, blue box around the origin, and the sides of the square base are 1.125 inches. Okay, another little feature we could do, big buttons are important. Rather than do numerical constraints for both sides, I know I want it to be a square, so I'm going to use an equals constraint that's going to force both sides to be equal to each other. So there's my 1.125 inches. Let's hit E to extrude. This time it did work. And let's go ahead and select all the profiles that are needed. So if you weren't paying attention, and you just keep like moving on. Oh, that doesn't quite look right. There's a square base. It looks like square base with the counter bore hole in the bottom. So to change something, we're going to go to our design timeline or design history. And if I edit that feature, I want to make sure I get both of those profiles. The other thing is you want to make sure you're going in the correct direction. If we remember, we went 3 inches we want this extra 1/4 inch to be not a new body, but we want to make sure that we are joining to the bottom of that cylinder. In this case, the way we're drawing it, it looks like the front. So we want to make sure we're joining a distance of a 1/4 inch, and we say okay. And because I was zooming again, it did some goofy things, so I'm going to have to repeat that process. So 0.25, boom, done. Poke the eyeball to hide the sketch. Now, um, we could draw that twice, but it would be more efficient to mirror it. So what I'm going to do, additive modeling, I'm going to create a mirror. When I go to create the mirror, the active dialog box is blue. And right now I see it says objects bodies. We have one body in the browser. Okay. I don't want to do that body. I want to mirror the feature. And we have this option of bodies, faces, features, components. So there's always multiple options in every dialog box. I want to do features. Features are found in your design history or your timeline. And I want to select that last feature. Um, and I can mirror a whole bunch of things at once. So right now I just have that one. We don't have a lot going on here. For a mirror plane, and this is why I want to go symmetrically around the origin. For a mirror plane, I'm going to go ahead and select the mirror plane of the front plane, that's the XY or origin plane. So that kind of highlights up there. I select it. There's also other options here. That's not what I want. We'll just say okay. And there, we did not have to draw and reconstrain a square. Now, in this case, it wouldn't be that hard to be fine to draw another square. But if you had to do this more complicated things in our sketch, we wouldn't have to want to recreate the geometry. I've made some changes. Save early, save often. Okay. Finally, if we look at this, we're supposed to have a hole that is a 1/4 inch hole all the way through. Okay. So I'm going to have a hole. I'm going to do create a hole. And in this case, let's select the face and let's go ahead and look at it using the view cube and snap head on. That hole is supposed to be 1/4 inch all the way through. So under distance, I'm going to select all, and the hole type, we have all these different hole types. We'll talk more about some of those other ones later. And I'm going to snap that to, I'm going to snap that to the origin, diameter 0.25. Okay, and we do want to go all the way through. We'll say okay. So now I have modeled the round column, and that was actually pretty simple to do, and we saw a couple new features.